The team at Rapala have been slaving away the past couple of months on the sand flats here to get the most lifelike yabby impersonation that crushed the imposter.
So make sure you get down to your local Rapala stockers, grab a pack before they run out and crush them.
Introducing J-Braid Expedition. Featuring a high-pitch weave construction, Daiwa's new J-Braid has a super round profile, aiding in abrasion resistance and angler feel. The use of 8 round strands of raw Isanis material further enhances line durability. Daiwa's new coating PE technology gives Expedition hydrophobic properties to repel water, silt and sediment from penetrating into the braid's weave, increasing durability and longevity. Contaminants entering the braid is one of the main causes of wear and tear. With improved contact with your lure and bite sensitivity, now gives anglers the upper hand when out on the water. J-Braid Expedition makes you be a strong fighter.
We are just, guys, we're having some technical issues tonight. We're working through, first we've worked through an NBN issue. So we have the Starlink now set up on the driveway of the ABT offices here. Josh Lowry is with me. You can't see him at the moment, but Josh, we're not panicking. We're just fixing problems.
Yeah, we're just fixing problems.
And now we have audio, but we don't have video camera, so we're working on that now. But what did you used to do, mate, when you used to turn the lights off and play spin the bottle in the dark or something?
Just go to sleep.
You go to sleep?
Yeah, just go to sleep.
No, not when you're 40, mate. When you were 10, what did you do? You tell ghost stories?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Hear a noise, ghosts.
Yeah, and try to scare each other and do it. So look, we are working on this now. We're not going to put you through any more ads. We've solved the internet issue. And how are we going with the camera, Nicole? Do we need a second camera now?
Maybe we can just do the whole thing just black, just audio.
It'd be like a podcast.
Podcast.
So if you're watching now and you shut your eyes, you can just imagine that we're having a podcast.
Show them all the new colours.
Oh, the new colours of Big Grouse? Yeah. Describe the colours to you. And look, one of the things that you don't lose the audio when you turn that off, do you, Nicole? Because it's on your computer. One of the things we are doing tonight, we have a cracking good prize pack full of all of ABT sponsor gear from Rapala, Atomic, Duo, Daiwa, Xeric, Crush City, and Josh is going to throw a few caps in there as well. So we've got a good prize pack. While you're waiting, you can throw where you're from in the comments. Doesn't matter whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. And we're going to draw someone out at the end of the night. They will get this prize pack, which I reckon is worth about $400, $500. So, Josh, thanks for contributing to the prize pack, and thanks for making the trip up the highway. Just explain to everyone that's listening at the moment exactly what a pre-ABT live involves. Who cooks dinner?
Nicole.
Nicole does.
Yeah,
cook
it's
dinner.
just like being on the Barra tour, really.
It is, isn't
it?
it?
Yeah, it's kind of
without the Barra.
Without the Barra, yeah. No, she always looks after us. We rock up. We had a burrito bowl tonight. It was delicious.
Very fresh, wasn't it?
Very fresh.
Yep. And you declined a drink. I actually, this is the first time I've been in a crowd and I'm the only one who's had something to drink. I had a ginger beer. Nicole had a water. You had a water. Yeah. Filtered water.
Filtered,
Flash uppy water.
Fresh filtered water.
And away we go. So that's what happened. Josh has rocked up, and we've got Josh on first tonight. I'm going to go through and actually explain to you what, as soon as we get this camera going, I'm going to explain to you who we've got tonight. We've got Josh, of course, from Bluefish Imports. He's going to be talking X-Braid stuff. He's going to be talking a bit of Samaki stuff. We've got a belated interview with Nick Turner. He was our non-boater champion at the Atomic Hunter River Round. He's one of the few non-boaters whose weight has beaten the boater weight. So that was pretty crazy. We caught up with him. We couldn't interview him at the time because it was cyclonic. We couldn't even hear ourselves under the tent, so we've caught up with him now. We're going to talk to Josh Carpenter from Shimano. The Shimano sponsored round at Glenbore Dam's coming up, as well as we're going to talk about the Shimano Victorian BREAM Open a little bit later in the year. And we're also going to talk about the net changes. We've had some very positive outcomes of the net changes. We can't have broad mesh nets, can't have the big rubber nets anymore. The fin splitting issue is really resolving itself. Nicole said that she's looking at the photos as they're going up. We're not seeing the fin splitting like we used to. So ABT leading the way in fish care, which is grouse. And we get a quick update from Kris Hickson. I'm pretty sure everyone knows that Taree is going through some pretty major flooding at the moment. Kris has given us an update this afternoon, just showing us how Manning River Marine is going. I think we'll also talk now about what's been happening. You don't need video to talk about what's been going on. Of course, we had that Hunter River Bass Round sponsored by Atomic. Anyone who was there will tell you that that event was the wettest event that we've ever had, I reckon. It absolutely crapped down for 6 or 7 hours straight when we were on the water. We just missed the flooding. The next day the flooding was 2 or 3 metres up. And Josh, it was a buck and bass weekend, mate. You've got a buck and bass suit. You know exactly what it's about, mate. And when it shits down, halfway through the day, everything else sucks, your buck and bass is still sweet.
Oh, they're that good. I own 2 of them.
You do, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I had no choice. I forgot it on one of the tours, and you pretty much, if it rains,
you want your buck and bass, don't you?
You want your buck and bass.
So that was cool. We had a first-time winner there. That was Ben Hay. And Nick Turner, who won the non-boaters, it was his first time ever ABT event. So imagine entering as a non-boater, first event, 1 shot, 1 kill. Like, it's only going to go downhill for poor old Nick after this. And the cool thing was, his big bag he got on day 2, he caught it on the sponsor product that Mick Starkey gave everyone 3 lures at the briefing. One of those lures he tied on, and that's what he caught all the big fish on.
How good is that?
That's called sponsor karma.
That is sponsor karma.
From there, we went to Hawkesbury.
We're
Nicole's
live.
giving us thumbs up. I'm going to keep going. We're going good here. From there, we went to the Hawkesbury River. And this is me telling you what's happening, mate. You're
Yeah,
catching up on
this
what's
is
going
good.
on.
Bit of goss.
Eco Gear sponsored round at the Hawkesbury River. We based out of a place called Dargle Farm. Now, Dargle Farm is like a water ski ramp on the river. You go across the world's dodgiest bridge to get there. It's like dead set. Every time you go on it, you think, I'm going to die. You go across this little bridge, put your boat in, and we had another first-time winner there as well, Mitch Hines, who's going to be he's guiding on the river at the moment. He won and boat, so that was awesome. From there, we went to the Hawkesbury River Bream Round. This was a big road trip we did. Good to see another first-time winner, Pete Brukel, in the boater section, and Rodney O'Sullivan in the non-boater section. He got the job done. Some cracking bags. Pete weighed a 5 kilo bag on the second day of that event to take over. Some very accomplished anglers and win his first ABT trophy. And of course, you would have all heard we had that incident on the water with the poor old Scotty Cicluna. Some reason his boat flipped. It might have been steering, might have been something they hit. We don't really know that yet, but they're wearing their PFDs, wearing the kill switch. They're both all right. They went to hospital for some observation, but they're both now sort of back home, and it was good to see they were doing all the right things. There was no injuries.
Uninjured.
Well, they're not uninjured. Like Scotty banged his knee up a bit, but And then of course we finished that trip with a Daiwa BREAM Australian Open. It was a massive week of bream coverage from Sydney Harbour. Your man got up, Jamie McEwen.
He did.
He's a 3-time Australian Open winner now, and it's a lure in the very first sample. It's not even built right. Wins a tournament. It's like
Yeah. It's good. It's a good outcome. It's a very good outcome.
So we'll talk a little bit about that. So congratulations to all of the ABT winners. Thank you to all the ABT sponsors that made the Sydney road trip awesome. It's all happening. Remember the prize mechanic tonight. I'll show you through because you didn't see it before. We have got this massive box of product from Duo, Atomic, Rapala, Xeric. There's some Crush Shitty plastics there. There's some Bait Junkie plastics. There's some jig heads and your chats. A couple of those for you there. Tell us where you're from. Throw it in Facebook, throw it in YouTube. Nicole will pick a winner later tonight, and away we go. Cool. Welcome to ABT Live, mate. You've seen all the excitement now, and we're going to talk about a few things. Let's start off with the X-Braid Foster Round, which is happening soon. And you've got some news about anyone in the country. I just tie a dodgy knot, and hope that knot doesn't break. But you know more about braids than me. What do you got coming out?
Comes in a colour called Pentagram, which is a multicolour and a green colour.
Yep.
It's our #1 selling braid, and so it should be its #1 selling. It is #1. It is it's #1 here. So last year or earlier this year, technical in Australia, we generally just buy one braid to do everything in the past, but we're probably going a little bit like America and also Japan, where now you can buy a 4-strand, a premium 4-strand. So 4-strand's always been looked upon as the first generation of braided fishing lines, and then went to 8-strand. So a lot of people assume
more's better.
More's better. It's got 8-strand. It should be 4. It should be better, and that is the case for a lot of the time for a lot of finesse spinning reels, bigger spinning reels. But when it actually comes to bait casters, having a premium 4-strand it actually outperforms. It casts further. It's got higher abrasion, particularly designed for that bait caster scene. Especially now, we're coming into there's a kind of a bit of a new trend coming with that whole BFS sort of system, like guys now throwing smaller baits on a bait caster, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I love doing it. It's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, this is upgrade 4-strand as Morgo just showed you. We've got it in 3 breaking strains. So X-Braid's extremely thin, and it tells you the true breaking strain, everything they do.
Yeah,
so
Japanese, it's accurate, isn't it?
Japanese is very accurate. So if you're used to fishing probably 30 pound, I would go up to the 1 just so you feel a little bit more comfortable.
Okay,
unless you're a tournament.
Up to 40.
Yeah, just so you feel like if you're a tournament guy, and you're probably fine. But their lightest braid they make is 0.05, and it's still like 12 pound.
Wow.
So when you see a 6 pound on the wall, you can't actually make a braid out of high quality fibre to break a 6 pound. It's just not possible.
You can't do it.
So everything gets manipulated a little bit for the Aussie market, but so our most popular line is 0.8 for the bream scene, which is what Jamie uses majority of the time.
And that's a 14 pound, and everyone thinks that's heavy, but it's probably the same breaking strength as a 6 pound of anything else.
Yeah, exactly right. So probably the same diameter. If you actually got out and measured it, it's actually the same diameter, but it's a true breaking strain. So so that's kind of the new upgrade 4-strand. The leader we touched on last time, so now it's finally here. You got a bit of a bit of a highlight.
Mate, we get
before-
global previews here, don't we?
after last year, so it's finally come into stock. So it's the same thing. It falls under the upgrade name called V12.
This one here?
This one there. So starting at £6 at the moment, up to £28. Obviously, the bream scene, we will definitely bring in a lighter as we go down to probably £4.
Yep.
A few customers have already requested it.
Yep.
So that's a new premium upgrade. So that's anything with the upgrade name from X-Braid is their quality raw material.
I like the feel of the box
Yeah,
too. It's
yeah,
something
yeah.
about a nice matte print job that we love on those things, and
yeah.
I think that's awesome. Okay, well that's cool, and that's so that's finally come to fruition. You can never be accused of rushing a product through.
No, that's true. That's true.
Because how long have you been working on these things? And there are some here that I've never even seen before, but where's an example of a Jamie McEwen tournament-winning lure, something like this?
Yes.
So tell us all about this thing, because everyone's going to want to have a half a tackle box of these because
Yeah.
it won the Open.
Well, one of the things, we moved to the Gold Coast 2020 and obviously got to hang out with Jamie. He was kind enough to come and renovate my garage floor with his with a
new look floored it.
New look floored it for me. Thanks again, Jamie. And we just started talking, I guess, as we do. He's obviously a bream guru. I just said, look, we want to try and tap into this market a little bit. We run through a lot of different scenarios. And I said it'll be ready next year. So,
And that was how many years ago?
yeah, it was 2020 or 2021. So we started, and we went for a bit of a fish and fished a few pontoons. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Okay, well, what try and come up with something a bit different. And then, we've basically worked on this lure, and it's been pretty close. I tried to release it last after, and it was like not perfect
Wasn't
yet.
perfect,
Wasn't perfect yet.
Yep.
But now it is perfect. So it's got a magnetic sliding weight in it, a suspending 40 mil lure.
Yep.
Very, very difficult to make. It just looks like probably a normal lure to the majority of people, but to have a sliding weight to holes to run
Detune
them under,
them?
detune them. So a big thing that I had on this was some other lures on the market, if you detune them, they're very hard to tune again.
Yeah.
So I basically sunk the bib, the toe point. So it's very easy now to tune straight. And if you want to run a bit left or run a bit right, it's not so difficult to run it.
Can I pull this out of the box?
Of course you
Am I
can.
allowed to?
Yeah.
I was just sort of sneaking it out there without you seeing.
So obviously with decoy, we run all decoy split rings, decoy YS25s, which is the most popular bream treble on the market.
Yep.
Straight out of the box, ready to go.
And that's the thing with, I think, all your stuff, your barra redics, your little baby redics, you can time. I'm a big fan of tying stuff straight on. I haven't got time to modify
More
stuff.
time fishing.
That's it. So there it is there. The bib is not super wide, but yeah, definitely you can smell the Reddick heritage in that, can't you? It's got its big brothers, and it's not. It doesn't look like just a big lure that's shrunk. It's its own. It's got the Reddick DNA, but it feels quality. You know, I feel the hooks, like you haven't made the mistake of putting super heavy hooks on. Oh, I don't want them to bend. Weight inside this thing here. If I get it in focus, you can see it there in the middle of the lure. A little silver sliding weight, and that is, especially when you're trying to parallel a boat, it's important to have a straight casting lure, because if it's going like this,
bit of wind,
mast,
they're not very heavy,
gone, so it's fantastic. But something I didn't even know about until you turned up tonight was you've got one of these, but it's got the world's biggest bib on it. So tell it, what's this thing?
So this was the one that actually caused the problem. So this was to make a deep diving,
a super deep diving.
Super deep diving.
Yeah.
So same thing. So this is getting boat hulls. You know, everybody fishing lie. You see the suspended fish now, not sitting hard up against the hull.
Yep.
They might be down 2 or 3 meters.
Yep.
So that's what this lure's for. So it's a suspending jerk bait. It'll get down a little bit deeper. Still got that 40 mil profile.
Is it tunable even with that big bib?
Still can tune it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I look at that and I thought that's just going to go all over the place.
Yeah. So
it'll
it's kind of
swimming down and then back up.
Bit to the left, bit to the right.
Yep.
So yes, they can tune it. But yeah, same colours. It comes in, I think there's 6 or 8 colours in the end. I don't know. We had too many colours and we had to trim it back a bit.
Yep.
But Jamie, we got the Jamie McEwen approval. He come to the office.
Yep.
I said, this is what we got. We changed a couple around and we've got the approval.
Oh, you know what? He'll just use one colour.
Yeah, probably.
His favourite one. You know what it's like. We get into our favourites and we don't, especially in a big event. Why would you change in a big event? We know that one won another event or another big event. So fantastic. I love the fact that we get these previews, Josh. I love it.
Yeah, it's good. So these aren't even out yet. So it's a bit of a teaser. We actually are releasing it after show on the Gold Coast.
Yep.
We just air freighted this out to give you guys a bit of a sneak peek. So they haven't even left yet to make it their voyage over here.
Yep.
But these
So
are
these will
coming
come by
after.
sea. And
Come
so
by
they
sea.
take a couple of months to.
Couple of months' time, we'll have them there and we'll release after. So
After
hopefully,
ready.
yeah, shops will probably get it maybe around the same week as after is the plan.
Right. Well, and you got other things here that I need. What are these? You're bringing
Yeah,
up new
well-
stuff. I'm unprepared for this.
You unprepared? So blades, yeah. So we bought out blades. Very 2012. I had my first blade.
Yep.
And it kind of trended. We obviously went into the Vibalicious, and it was just powering through in sales, and we discontinued the blade. But now we've just bought out a brand new Bladelicious, obviously to keep everything
it's got
going.
the Licious going.
It's got the Licious going. 3 sizes. So obviously coming into winter.
Yep.
Perfect time for them now as that bait fish schools up in the cooler water.
Yep.
But 3 sizes, right from obviously your brim scene, flathead scene, bass scene,
Yep.
yellow belly.
Yep. That's a big market now, the yellow belly, isn't it?
Yeah. So some of the yellow belly guys might swap out and put some twin assists on. I
Yep.
know that's a pretty big thing for the guys pimping them, but
Yep. Here we go. Going to get nice and clear. And does that do anything for the action of the lure, Josh?
yeah, it just makes it super. You can work it at a very slow pace.
It instead of getting going and vibing, it's bang,
Bang,
from the
straight
get-go.
away. So yeah, that was there's a very exciting colour range here. Like the quality of the colours now to getting on blades, like compared to our
Yep.
original one there.
Yep.
Just the finishes now are thing, and obviously same as we always do. Decoy snap, decoy split ring. Thing is too, we design like because everything is done in house. We reverse engineering, so we pick the best hook for that particular species.
Yep.
Like this YS25 for example,
Yep.
and then when does this split ring work or
Yep.
does this?
Yeah. Let's
treble
find a
work?
right split ring.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't make one.
Yeah, they don't make it sort of stuff. So
Yep.
that's I think that's what we enjoy doing though. So as like you, I like to buy a lure, pull it out, tie it on, and you know that everything on there is perfect.
Yeah,
for
spend all your
design
time tying your FG knots, mate.
Yeah.
Because it's the
Yeah.
important bit, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we do plenty of them.
No, that's awesome. And so, 3 sizes. 1,
Yeah.
2, 3.
Yes.
And so I'll just show them there so you can say,
Yeah.
and they're after release as well?
They've actually just arrived. They've actually just
here.
started hitting stores. Like I think this week or end of last week, I saw a few stories pop up. So they are actually here. So for winter, especially now as we're getting that cooler,
Yep.
that cold snap happen.
There you go. Well, they snuck up on me. I didn't even know this
Ultra 8.
Ultra
so
8.
This is Ultra Max 8. So
this is
a-
X-Braid as well?
Yeah, this is a new line. So before we never really had an economy price line.
Yep.
For someone like me, I don't like selling stuff that I wouldn't use.
Yep.
However, they've brought out this thing to get the entry level guy to use really good quality, like all round line. If you're just
Yep.
getting into lure fishing and you're just learning, this is a great all round line for basically everything from brim to flathead to snapper fishing.
Yep.
There's kind of a pretty big range in it.
I remember something you told me, maybe on the last show, maybe not on air, about quality of braid fibres and how long your braid lasts with them. So like
Yes.
every braid's great for a couple of weeks.
Yep.
The difference between the upgrade
Yes.
and maybe this in shelf life, tell me.
So raw fibre, they can put lots of different coatings on it, so it feels, this feels like really nice. But then you would have noticed in the past, just through technology, like we didn't have this technology before.
Yep.
So after a while, it would just fluff up and you weren't sure what was going on. And that's just the fibre breaking down. And I've also learnt this probably 5-6 years ago, and they're explaining, because I'm always going, how do we bring the price down? And we couldn't bring the price down because the raw fibre was
Just they cost that much.
It just
yeah.
cost that
Yeah.
much. So then they explained to us, well, they're different fibres. So there's basically, they treat a cheap fibre as a 6-month fibre. So you
Yep.
just buy the line for a price.
6 months gone.
6 months gone. So it feels really nice. You'll use it for 5 sessions, whatever, no problem at all. But the Barratua, obviously, I've still got my Curado DC. I've still got it spooled up with PE3 from my first trip.
Yeah, and it's still mint.
It's still no issues, sort
Yeah.
of thing. So that's
And that's the difference between spending twice as much money on a good spool of braid
yeah.
than cheap.
zero
yeah.
failures. And it's not that. It might only be, you might fish a year later, pull it out, go for a fish. Oh, the line just broke.
Just broke.
That sort of stuff. So
Throw
everything.
that Temu stuff in the rubbish.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So everything under X-Braid, we don't bring any of that cheaper fibre into
Yep.
the country.
It's only made with good fibre.
They offer it to do for combos for cheap sort of stuff, but we are not interested in that. So everything you buy under the X-Braid banner, you know you're going to buy
Yep.
at least a 3-year fibre.
So yeah, so this will last you. That'll last you because it's still good fibres.
Still good fibres.
Just a different number of brands, and your specials bin braid. If you only want it for one trip, then you probably get away with it.
Yeah. And the difference between, say, for example, this spoiler line here,
Yep.
which is say around, I think it's around $35, $40 as an example, where our upgrade is around $60.
Yep.
So that's all due to different processes that go onto it. So it has a more slick coating, higher abrasion. So it goes through a lot more processes, they don't just braid the line and then put it through to give a bit of colour.
They paint it.
They paint it. So that's that's basically what you pay for. So, and as you go up in quality as well, it also is a stronger breaking strain.
Yep. Well, that's awesome. I think that's information that I don't really know. And now when I'm sitting there looking to buy some braid, it's like, well, I know why I want to buy good braid now because I don't want to let me go in 2 years' time. Got a 1.20 metre barra on. Tommy's barking over in the corner there, and I'm going, dude, I'm going to catch this, and the thing breaks, and it's like, I don't want shit braid. I want good braid. And so that's why you buy it. I have a note here saying if you've got any hints of new releases at AFTA, but you've shown us you've just laid down the mosaic saying this is what's going on.
We've got a lot coming this year. I always say, I thought last year was going to be pretty hard to beat, but we've been pretty busy in the office and there's a lot of exciting stuff happening this year. This is a little bit of a teaser, but yeah, obviously we launched reels last year. That's we're growing that significantly this year. Some very exciting new product, new rod ranges. Which everybody will get to see. I can't say too much because they're thing, but it's a very exciting time for the team at Samaki.
Well, just after the after show, you've got a bass round as well. It's the decoy round of the Bass Pro at where's Somerset? So big fish capital of Australia. We had a 3.88 kilo bass come from there last year.
Wow.
Giant.
Huge.
And that's with your decoy brand. You've had decoy for what? Nearly a year now. And how's it been going for you?
Yeah, it's awesome. So there's a huge expansion in decoy, which you also see after. I can't say too much, but very exciting to. It's been going great. Obviously, a great product. We're privileged to distribute it, the same as X-Braid. So we'll just keep growing that, especially for the bass scene. They do a lot of cool bass stuff. So we're just trying to cater to that guy that wants the better hook or has never seen some of the hooks. In the country before.
The shop seems to be not going up.
Yeah, we brought the price down. Like I'm big about price and quality as a company. A lot of the product come down to up to 30%.
Okay, and that's because you can turn over more and
we just run a tighter ship and we want more people using it.
And to be honest, I go like a lot of high quality trebles are there. The best value for money one is often the one that might get my business because
decoy.
it's like, well, that's right. If I'm getting 2 more trebles from a $10, why wouldn't I do it?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and the last thing I want to talk to you about is the Barra Tour, the Samaki round. The last 2 years you've sponsored that, you've won the trophy. It's the ultimate case of sponsor karma. What's the plan this year? Little Tommy Wood might be out trying to qualify for Bassmaster Elite Series. Is he going to be back in time to fish that? Or
well, it's a catch-22. So if he's back,
he sucked.
He could have sucked. He could have sucked. So yeah, it just depends if he's back in Australia. Like obviously the Barra Tour is just unbelievable fun. Anyone that hasn't done it or thinking about doing it, I can 100% try and convince you to go and do it because it is an awesome time, awesome group of teams. Everyone who shares wins. The whole ABT philosophy there. But
you're addicted, aren't you?
Oh, I love it. I can't fish it as much this year just due to the timing and everything. And I'd say the following year I'll be back. It just works out with timing with work. But if Tommy's back in the country, he's already. We joke about it all the time.
We're gonna do it.
We might have to come back just to fish Faust, just for a bit of
just to defend the title.
Just to defend the title. Obviously there's a lot of good fishermen. We've had a lot of luck go our way over the last 3 years. But it's a great crowd and a great turnout. So,
well, thank you very much for coming in to ABT Live tonight. Anyone that hasn't met Josh, but you've listened to him on live, he's just the same on camera as he is in real life. Meticulous, wants to make good product. He wants to see people genuinely happy catching your fish, mate. And I think that's a great attitude in the industry because not everyone some people are there to make money. Some people are there because they've acquired the business. Other people buy it just for a business. You just love the fishing.
Yeah, I love it.
You used to work in tackle shops, so you've living the dream. You've gone up to the wholesale level, and now you're developing your own product, which has already won Australian Opens.
I have the best job in the world. Literally have the best job.
You do too, mate. So look, I know you've got all sorts of midnight stuff happening at the moment. That's why we got you on first. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for doing the prizes there. And you're probably going to take all those samples, but that's all right. I'll get some
I might
after.
leave a couple. I'll leave a couple. So yeah.
No, thanks very much for coming in, mate. We're going to go to an ad, and we're going to come back, and Josh will magically be down the highway, and we'll go from there.
No worries.
Thanks, mate.
No easy.
So, Angler of the Year recap with Dickie Nee over here for some sideline comments. What are we starting with? We're starting with Bass. If we go to that tile, let's have a look. Leading AOY on the Bass side of things is
For
Ben
boaters
Hay.
or non-boaters? Boaters?
For the boaters, that was the first one on here. So we have Ben Hay there. Ben Hay sitting on 199 points, just one short of a perfect season at the moment. He, of course, won the Hunter, came second at the Hawkesbury, benefited from that time he put in practicing. But look at that, after that, 2 and 3, the usual suspects, both on 196 points. Mick and Matt are always there, perennial contenders for AOY. Glenn Bailey from Northern New South Wales on 186 points. Mitchell Cone, 185, a little bit uncharacteristically low for Mitchie. I think he was a very frustrated ranger after Hawkesbury when he saw people catching them all around him and couldn't quite connect with them. And look at that, the unofficial mayor of Grafton, Tony Thorley, 183 points, Simon Marchant, 181. Brian Everingham, who's probably bailing out his boat at the moment in Taree. We're thinking about you, mate. 178. Tim Oakley, 177. Topwater Timmy. And Dane Price, 177. Nicole, that is an all-star cast, isn't it?
100%, and we're just on a third of the way through the season, so I reckon there's going to be lots of moving and shaking going on.
I think so, but the interesting thing about this year is before the season started, we set it as being your top 3 out of 5 events, and that was a bit to sort of cater for all the guys going to the Australian Bass team. But it also reflected that there was one fewer event, I think, this year. There were 6 events last year, 5 this year. So this is wide open. If Ben has a really good Glenbourne, what do you reckon? He'll be hard to catch, won't he? Especially with the guys that aren't going to be here. So.
And he's already planning to come up to do the Queensland round.
And he might be able to upgrade in the Queensland round. So that's great. Let's go to the non-boaters. We've got a tile there for the non-boaters. And have a look in there. It's also a bit of a battle at the top as well. So Ryan Vanderberg, 198 points. He's 2 points away from a perfect season. Look at that. Barry Reynolds. What a cracker of a New South Wales trip he had in Nicole. He's the most laid-back non-boater in the world, isn't he?
Yeah, he loves just being there.
Yep.
If he catches a fish or not, so I think the win was just made it all that sweeter, but he just loves being there.
Bridget Curry, look at that, haven't had a lady in the AOY that high for quite a while, sitting in 3rd at the moment, and she won herself a few prizes. Didn't she win one of the Samaki reaction?
Samurai.
The Samurai reaction? Too much Josh in here at the moment, but the Samurai reaction was one, but she's done pretty well this year. Hayden Wadsworth is first year fishing as a boater, I think, in the Bass side there. 181 points. It's a real traffic jam. 181, 180, 180, 179. Ryan Bollard, Jason Patterson, Damien Winters there. And then just off the pace at the moment, Kelvin Hatton, Aaron Bonza and Jill Wales. And Bonza, of course, thank you very much, Aaron and Wayne, for getting Dargle Farm sorted for us. That was a great venue. I'm sure we're going to be back there when we go to the Hawkesbury. Nicole, cool. You liked that venue, didn't you? How did you like caravanning? You were in a caravan at that venue. Did you like it?
It's not my first choice, but it definitely did the job.
It was better than camping.
So cool to see a couple of female anglers in that non-boater AOY top 10 at
Rightio.
the moment too.
Let's go to the BREAM boaters at the moment, and we have someone who really wants to win a BREAM Angler of the Year title, leading at the moment. He is the only angler who's fished 5 events so far out of 5, and he's on 471 points, so he's definitely not slouching. Mark Crompton came 3rd at that event up at WA at the Blackwood River. It was leading after the first day. Of course, Mark Healy's had 2 wins already this year. I think 2 wins, a 3rd, and a 9th or something. Hasn't been out of the top 10 all year, 390. Has been Brimmer Steve Morgan, 370, sitting there. The BREAM is a lot more spaced out, isn't it? There's no log jams at the top, Nicole. What do you think that is?
I have no idea.
Oh, come on. I thought you'd
No, I
unprompted
think
question. You'd be excited about it.
Mark Healy's really good, and the rest of you just need to try a bit harder.
Well, it's not over till it's over. So Christian Wardini, 356. Pete Brukel, he had a win this year, but he's had a couple of sort of ordinary ones to go through it. Good to see Mitchy Blomqvist up there because he's travelling to try and make that grand final as well. Jamie McEwen, hey, apart from winning the grand final last year and winning the Open, he is a big event player, isn't he? He's sort of done crap in the rest of them.
Yeah, it hasn't been his year yet.
If you're only going to win 2 events, win the grand final, win the Australian Open.
And I think he's coasting a bit on the fact that he is already in for this year's grand final.
True, yeah.
So
He
the
withdrew
pressure's
from
off a
Foster,
bit.
didn't he,
He's-
today? I think he's out of that event.
Yeah, his name's off the list. Just things have come up, but I think he's fishing for fun at the moment.
Fishing for fun and doing it well. Judd Kirkland, 320. Scotty Wilson, 318. That's uncharacteristically high for Scotty. Likes to only slip into the grand
I
finals
did
usually.
note that earlier. Good to see him up there.
And how good's that? Lamps. Steve Lampsakianos, flogging that big skeet around the venues and sitting in top 10 in Angler of the Year at the moment. That's
So
grouse.
we've got 3 events left for that grand final cutoff, and I was having a look at the sums. So you want to be sitting as a boater in that top 25 AOY
Yeah.
at the moment to be able to have a shot at that cut.
And if you want to check your position, go to abt.org.au, click on BREAM Stats under the BREAM tab, and you can look at all of the AOY placings. Let's go to the non-boaters, and this is like the boaters. Cole Wilson, I reckon, is the only dude who's fished all 5 events.
No,
No?
Lance Marsh.
Oh,
He
Lance.
just hasn't fished
He
in
just
that
needed to
race.
catch more Uncle Lance. All right, but the standout favourite there, of course, is Nathan Booth. I think he's done 4 events and he's only dropped 13 points. So that is going to be hard to catch. Once he does his 5th event, he'll jump up to high 400s, and you better be catching him if you want to. Nathan, basically, if you catch 2 more limits, I think you're going to win AOY.
Well, outside of Nathan Booth and Chris Hoken, everyone else in that top 6 has done 5 events.
Wow. So
All those guys went over to WA.
there you go. It's a some guys getting it done every event. Some guys leaving it till later in the season. Is that what I should say?
Possibly.
So there you go. So let's run through that top 10. In 10th, Louis Wardini, 293. John O. Parkinson, 296. Gordon Pullen, 310. There's some bragging rights right there. Samuel Rako doing well this year, 334. Tied with Glenn Hoskin on 334. And Al Lavelle, 343. Chris Hoken in 4th with 344. And, of course, that top 3. Cole Wilson, Nathan Booth, Lance Marsh. Well done, guys. I think you've got yourself into the grand final right now. But the trophy is Nathan's to lose right there. So there we go. That's the AOY recap, what's going on in the Angler of the Year. Of course, what do you win for AOY, Nicole?
A trophy.
A trophy. There you go. That's what we do it for. We want to win the trophy. You don't even win a badge for AOY, do you?
No.
Don't even get an extra badge. Let's have a look at some upcoming events. We have a BASS, of course. We have the Glenbourne event. Glenbourne is up at the moment, but we are quite confident that by the time we get to the event there, the lake would have subsided. It'll have settled down. And to be honest, if anyone remembers ABT 20 to 25 years ago, our best ever event at Glenbourne from a fishing experience point of view was when the lake was at 110% and they were annihilating spinnerbaits in the shallows, and guys were saying, have you got heavier leader than 20 pound? It's not enough for us. So, hey, who knows how it's going to fish, but we are quite confident that Glenbourne event is going to go ahead. Don't go cancelling any plans yet, unless Armageddon happens, but I think it's all looking good now, the weather from here forward. After the BASS event, we go bream fishing. Of course, we've had to cancel that Taree event, but that event has moved to Foster, so a double header, both at Foster. It's one of the spiritual homes of brimming. We've had grand finals there in the past. The oyster racks are substantial. It's very close to the ocean. It only has small catchments, so we're very confident that it'll clear up quite nicely and be quite fishable come that double header. Everyone coming up from Victoria or down from Queensland wanting to accumulate the AOY points, you can stay in one place and do it all week. So all of the anglers who have entered that event, you got a text message today. All your entries will switch across unless you let us know. We can refund. We can do whatever. We're very flexible at ABT. We've made this decision early to make it easy on you. While we're talking about Taree, Kris Hickson was good enough today to give us a bit of an update from Manning River Marine. Anyone who watched my Tackle Fridays 2 weeks ago would have seen Manning River Marine in all of its glory. And it might make you a bit sad to see it as it is, but Kris is going to give us a tour right now.
Righto, ABTs. Bit of an update from the Taree what was going to be the Daiwa BREAM round anyway. As everyone's probably seen, we're in a bit of a flood situation on the Manning. It's actually pretty serious. Biggest one we've ever seen. Just give everyone a bit of an idea on how high the water is. Anyone that's been to Manning River Marine, that's where we're at. Not ideal. Luckily, we spent yesterday getting most of our stock up as high as we could to try and get it above the old flood level, but that definitely wasn't high enough. It's about 700 mils above the record. Motors are safe over in Wally Phase, detailing bays in there, plenty of stock in that truck. But yeah, we're probably going to lose a fair bit. So I reckon Morgo's going to double header, possibly Foster, because it should be fishable. And while we're there, I'd say we'll still be cleaning up, but I reckon we're going to do a massive flood damage stock clearance sale. So there's going to be so much stock in the shop there that needs to be cleaned. The packaging will be buggered, but the product will be fine, so we're just going to clear it out. So hopefully the next week or so, water comes down, we'll clean what we can and bring your cash to Foster or whatever comp we end up having here instead of Taree, because there's going to be some ripping deals on some wet but still good tackle. So yeah, any support would be really appreciated.
Suffering like that. Kris is in a good mood at the moment. I reckon give him a week, he'll probably be tired and muddy. The best way you guys can help as anglers that are coming to the event, bring some cash along and buy some of his stock that's going to have damaged packaging, still going to be good. I think that's the best way you can help. This is right in our hitting zone. Buy and tackle to help a mate is going to be right there. So make sure you bring a couple of $100 extra and buy some stuff you like. And I'm sure Kris will have some stuff all set up for you guys by then. We're going to give you some stuff tonight though. Let me remind you of the mechanic. There's this big box of tackle here from lots of ABT sponsors. Let us know where you're watching from. Put it in YouTube, put it in Facebook, and you can be my co-host for the rest of the night. That prize there, of course, these two decoy hats, in they go there as well. So we'll go to a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to be, we'll talk to Josh Carpenter all the way from New Zealand about nets, a bass round, and the Victorian BREAM Open. Australia.
None, and the boats like show it. There's massive trailer boats. The cars they must need to tow these things would be huge, huge trailer boats.
Yep. We got you on the show tonight for a few reasons. Firstly, we're going to talk a little bit about the new net rules and how successful they've been. But also coming up is the Shimano Glenbourne round of the Bass Pro Series. And later in the year, we've got an innovative new event. It's the BREAM Victorian Open sponsored by Shimano. So we're going to talk about those three things at the moment, because I know all of those three things are sort of excited to you since you've got, you're working for Shimano at the moment, but you haven't always been at Shimano, but you're flying the flag pretty hard at the moment.
Yep. So we're happy to be involved again with ABT. Obviously, the new net rules that we'll talk about. Glenbourne. I'm really excited for the Victorian BREAM Open down there in Gippsland Lakes. I've been saying for a couple of years now that Gippsland is going to be the crown jewel of bream fishing in Australia. I think it's probably going to overtake Tasmania as the place to go.
I think it already has.
Yeah, well, you look at Mark Healy's weights from what was it last year, and they're off the scale.
Yeah, nowadays you need a 1.2 kilo average, not a 1 kilo average to be competitive, and we love that. Look, let's get to the new net rules. We gave everyone a year's notice, and we made sure that we're using nets now that are fish friendly. Like, I think as a catch and release tournament, it's important for ABT to have good post-release survival of fish, whether that's bream, bass, or barra. And I've done a lot of work myself over the years to just see what sort of nets do what to the fins of the fish. And apart from live well water quality and where you hook the fish, one of the higher causes of post-release mortality can be really deep fin splits. That's where a fin splits all the way down and into the caudal peduncle if it's on the tail, or into the body of the at the very first events at Gippsland Lakes this year, everyone proudly had their new nets on the deck, showing, oh, check my live well, check my net, here it is. And look, a lot of them bought Environets because they're the gold standard, of course. Dave Irvine invented those nets many years ago with the welfare of the fish in mind. But there are other brands there. You can, so long as you don't exceed that maximum mesh size, any sort of meshed not free net is A1. And I think it was really telling after the I think it was the Clarence event or the Hawkesbury event. Nicole Smith was doing the photos for the galleries on Facebook and says, "Wow, I'm looking at the fins of the fish and they're all pretty good. It's actually making a noticeable, not a scientific, but just a noticeable difference to our catches." And I think that's a great thing for anglers to do. I think Shimano would be proud of that.
Yeah, look, I think tournaments should be stewards of like in the environment and looking after the fish. Like it is really important that the tournament scene, like, because I've been with it and in it with you for a long time now, nearly 20 years. And, you know, it's important to be seen as looking after this resource and be at the very front edge of like making sure that those fish release well and that we're having as little impact. In fact, if we're going to have a positive impact on the environment, that's really what we would like to go for as anglers, and just set the standard for the rest of the industry to go by.
Yeah, no, understood. And look, I know as an angler, it's very easy to use like a rubber mesh net. They swipe through the water easily. You can probably land the fish a bit earlier and minimize the risk to yourself, but it did have a deleterious effect on the fish. Like I noticed in my live streams, I would always hold my net to the camera, and that's one to show the viewers the fish, but it's also, I like to look afterwards and see how many times it's split. And even your Shimano, you've got a rubber covered Spectra net, like a black mesh. Yep. I thought that was going to be fine, but in my research, I found that would actually split the fins as well. So we actually had to make the mesh size smaller than your second smallest mesh net.
Well, we call that black one the keeper net.
That's it.
Plenty of people want to keep a feed of fish, and that's fine. Like that is definitely part of the industry. But being a catch and release competition like ABT, no, you want to go for maximum, I think, fish care.
And I think a lot of anglers this year have now learned how to reuse the EnviroNet. Back in the early days of ABT, everyone used EnviroNet. So with the net to use, and you would hold the net in the water, you would bring the fish to the net. You wouldn't go swiping after it. And I think for the last 8 or 10 years, we sort of lost that. And I think there's a lot of guys that are retraining themselves about how to properly net a fish, because you can't chase them around with the EnviroNet.
Oh, I remember coming up watching videos of Timmy on AFC, you know, and they were all that green EnviroNet that was pretty much like standard on every deck.
Yeah. So thank you for reminding us of what we should be doing with the fish in the environment. I think that gets a big tick from us this year. The next thing is the BASS Pro Series down at Glenbourne. We are fishing Glenbourne again at 100% capacity. I think they're copping a bit of rain there now, so it'll definitely be 100 or 100+%. We're really hoping that we see Glenbourne, if not at this event, but in future events, looking like Glenbourne of the old days of Glenbourne again.
Yeah, I think we've been doing pretty well the last, 5 or 6 years with rainfall. So, you know, having those full dams and having those more active fish, like I think some years past, like when that water level gets low and it gets really clear, they get quite like finicky. So yeah, the old school spinnerbait on the edge bites, you know, they were the fun days for sure.
But when you tie 20-pound leader on it, it just might not have been enough. They were the good days. But look, the one that's most exciting to me, and I think exciting to a lot of Victorians, their entries are already up there, is the Victorian BREAM Open, sponsored by Shimano. And Shimano have had so much success in the BREAM arena this year, mainly due to your man, Mark Healy. He's on a roll. He's on a roll at the moment, and it'd be hard to bet against him anywhere he fishes. And I know that when he goes out now, he wears the confidence, but I'm sure he's got a lot of targets on his back, people that want to beat him. I want to beat that guy. And what it does is it lifts the standard up. You know, if you want to beat Mark Healy, you better have a good day. Your tackle must better be in a lineup. It better be no failures. You better have a good day. And if you're lucky, you're going to end up on the right side of him. So I think you've done well.
It's just amazing, like, for him to be so successful in such different arenas and different areas. Like if you were just a specialist and you know the tour happened to be all on the east coast between, say, south of Sydney and the north coast, you'd be like, oh yeah, it was all in his backyard, no worries. But last year doing, I think, was it a double and just to do so well, everywhere. Plus the WA rounds, plus everything. He's a very versatile BREAM angler. You can put him nearly anywhere and he's going to break it down and think about it. Even was it Lake Macquarie and then Hawkesbury?
There was one last year. I think the grand final was Lake Macquarie, and everyone was really surprised that he did win the grand final. But there's a thing with anglers when they're fishing right on their home water, they often struggle because they have too many ideas in their head about what goes on. When I was talking to Mark about when he won the Clarence and the Tweed, Ballina and Tweed. They were both arenas he'd never been to. So he did his research. He found a spot where historically it goes well, and he would lock into that spot. And whereas the rest of us we remember catching a 1.5 kilo bream 23 years ago on a spinnerbait up on that island. So we're still chasing that bite.
I'm very guilty of that.
So I think that's why he is strategically very good and representing your brand fantastically at the moment. I think the Victorian Open with trying to attain a level of coverage like you would have seen recently in the Australian Open, with observers on boats, we have more cameras on boats, we can do more with it, and we're really looking forward to showing Australia's premier bream fishery in the light that it should be shown, with a great sponsor to help. So a big thank you to your company for doing that. And I know you guys will be cheering for a Shimano angler to win, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of anglers cheering for themselves to win. So 100% payback and 6 kilo bags plus, I think you're going to need to do well.
Any competition's great competition. I can't wait to get down there and help you out with some of that media. It's going to be a great event, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be I'm hoping it'll be the crown jewel of events in Australia moving forward.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Well, look, thank you very much for making the time for us. I know you're on a busy schedule over there in New Zealand. I know what time it is now, but it's probably getting towards chilly o'clock, and you need to go out and get yourself fed. So thanks for taking the time, and we look forward to catching up with you later in the year, and of course your anglers at all the events down the track. So
awesome.
Thank you, Josh.
Thanks, Steve. Talk to you soon.
Well, there we go. Thanks for making the time for joining us there, Josh. And correct, really looking forward to that Vic Open. It's going to be an absolutely epic event. Nicole has got some great ideas, haven't you, Nicole? Coverage-wise.
It's going to look good.
All-star cast.
Possibly.
Maybe. You'll find out. We alluded to it before, and we had a non-boater in his first event beat the boater weight, even though he can only weigh in 6 fish. He beat Ben Hay, who weighed in 7 fish and could have weighed in 10 fish. Let's talk to him. Nick Turner. Let's go. Hear his interview. He's a bit shy, but man, he can catch them, and he channels the sponsor's karma already. Let's go and talk to him. This interview, it's a little bit late, I must admit, but Nicholas Turner, you're a new ABT competitor. 1 shot, 1 kill at the atomic round of the Rapala BASS Series down the Hunter River, mate. That was a bit of a whirlwind, wasn't it? Followed up by cyclonic rain, which is why we couldn't do this interview a few weeks ago. Welcome to ABT Live.
Oh, cheers. Yeah, it was a bit tough on the first day, and then the second day it was pretty rough.
Was that because you had an ordinary boater on the first day?
Oh, he's all right. He's good on the net.
And just so that you know, we fished together on the first day, and I think we found what was to be the next day the driest part of the whole river, because we were fishing under one of the bridges up on the Hunter there, and we were nearly bream fishing, weren't we? We were throwing small plastics and just trying to scratch our limit out.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, you fished your first ABT event. You got a limit both days. But the most impressive stat I have here is that you caught 2.388 kilos on day 1 for 3 fish, and then you backed it up with a day 2 limit, and this is true, 5 by 4. Now, Ben didn't catch a full limit; you caught a full limit, but it's probably going to go downhill for you from here.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll be expecting that.
Tell us about what you take home for a start from the atomic round. At the start, you get a roll. How big was that one?
It was 47 to the fork.
A 47 forker?
Just scraped in there, yeah.
And then you won a couple of really big Rapala packs.
Yeah, and then about $750 cash too. It was pretty good.
Yeah, and that was for the big bass and for wearing the Rapala jersey, and that we gave you as well. So
yeah,
it's like, if I was you, I'd be thinking these are the best things ever. So and for the people that haven't fished an ABT event as a non-boater, entry is $150, and you got to pay a $50 membership. So for $200, you got $700 cash, a free shirt, $750 worth of Rapala tackle, pair of Maui gyms, and a good weekend.
Yeah, great weekend.
Good value.
Yeah.
Hey, let's run through the 2 days of fishing. We fished together on day one and headed upstream, but it wasn't easy, was it? It was how many legals did you catch? And tell us how we caught them.
Oh, we got 2 early in the morning. Well, I got 2. You got the 1.
Yep.
At just at the bridge there, and we were just flicking plastics. We were trying the top water first thing, and then I tried to sort of go the opposite to see if like bounce things off of one another.
Yeah.
So you were working the top water, then I started working the plastic to try to work that deeper water. And you kept saying like there's heaps of mullet on the screen on the live scope, like look at all the mullet.
Yep.
And then I was like, oh well, I'll try something. I put on a bit of a diver or a crankbait, and yeah, nothing was touching that. And then I just wanted to try get a limit, so I put the plastic on.
You went small, didn't you? We ended up on that bridge and had bass there. And how small was the plastic you were throwing? What was it?
2.5 Z-Man grub.
Yep.
In the was it greasy prawn?
Yep.
Yeah.
Quite a clear looking colour and quite a light sort of jig head too. It wasn't a heavy jig head. It was like, wouldn't have been an eighth of an ounce or something?
1/8, yeah. 1/8 jig head.
1/8. So
it wasn't running too fast. So you could get away with using something a bit smaller, but you still want a little bit of weight to try and get that tail working.
Yep.
So that was that was working pretty good.
So we got 2 fish there, but it wasn't there where you caught your 3rd fish. And I think it was it 3 legals for the day?
It was 3 legals for the day. Because I got 1, you got 1, and then I got another 1, and then I pulled the hooks on a fish there because I got fouled up on that I think one of those pylons there, and on a fish, and then they just shut down. They just went quiet and didn't get another touch. So then we moved up to your little secret spot up the canal.
It's the mega drain. It's the wall of drains.
Yeah.
Which I did find accidentally on the pre-fish day. I thought it was a creek. I didn't know there was a damn wall there, but there was. And it was interesting. The water started running out, and there was a few fish around.
Yeah, we would have had a lot more fish. You got stitched up a couple of times there by some good ones. But I said you're playing with fire, casting that close in, but that's where the fish were, weren't they?
That's right. But you put your 3rd fish there together. 2.388 kilos was your length weight curve on the app. Where did that have you after the first day?
5th place.
In 5th. So good swooping position. Now, this is the real story, is your day 2. You were fishing with Nick Brunny on day 2.
Yeah.
And I want you to tell everyone the story of ultimate sponsor karma. Tell us what happened on day 2.
Well, on day 2, we headed upstream as well, because Nick fished downstream on day 1, and he said he only got 1 fish. But I think it went about 42, which is pretty good fish. But he decided we'll just go upstream, and we'll working the banks all the way up, and about 8:30 we found a good little patch of fish. So Nick was casting, I think, like a TD20, like quite a big crankbait, and he got 1, and the closest thing I had to that was a little jackal chubby. Yeah. And I was casting that because I saw he was getting a lot of hits, but not hooking up. And I put a small little jackal chubby on, and as he was getting his fish out of the net, I've hooked up, and then didn't see another fish until about 12 o'clock.
And then what did you do at 12 o'clock? Tell us.
Well, I lost my jackal in a tree, and I was kind of a bit cold. I was a bit wet and cold, so I didn't really bother going after it. And I put the Shiner 60 on.
Show us, you got it there. Hold it up. Show us what you were throwing it on, and show us the rig.
So that's the Shimano Zodius with the Shimano Stratic 1000. Just got the 8-pound Daiwa J braid.
Yep.
And 10-pound Rock FC leader.
And that's the one of the shiners that you picked up at the briefing. What colour is that? That's a chrome colour with like a bluey brown.
That's the Silver Wolf.
Silver Wolf.
Silver
And
Wolf.
what? Tell us what you did with it and what happened. Come on.
Oh, I picked it up because I knew that there was a lot of mullet in that river system, and those bigger fish would obviously be eating those mullet. So, yeah, as soon as I put it on, I think it took 2 casts, and yeah, slugged a 42.
Yep.
And then got it out of the net, measured it up. Nick put us back on the same spot that we caught the fish earlier on in the morning.
Yep.
Cast out again. Probably took about 2-3 casts and then got a 44.
Yep.
And then as we were drifting, we came back up and we were coming back the same snag. I said, imagine that. Like put another cast back in there and yeah, pulled a 47 out.
So this is your lucky snag, and it is the ultimate story of sponsor Carver, because as soon as you put it on, everything went right.
Well, at that stage too, as we were drifting past, I noticed that we started drifting a bit further back from the bank. And I was like, I don't know what's going on here, but I was like locked in the zone. I cast out. And as I've hooked the fish, it's like run straight towards me. And I didn't even get to feel the weight of it. Like it was running towards me and then it turned and it started running back. And the line's just peeling off like the 1000. And I look over and I see Nick's like hooked up on something at the front. And then it turned and I felt the weight of it. And I was like, this is a really good fish. And then I look over and Nick's like, can you grab me the scissors? He was actually fouled up on the electric motor.
Oh, no.
And I was like, yeah, mate, just 1 second. He's like, you got a fish on? I was like,
I've got a bit on here.
It's a pretty good one too.
Nice.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
And so that was a total of 5.123 kilos, which gave you that winning weight by a long way over your fellow nonnies. And I just want you to describe to everyone watching live tonight how disgusting the weather was that day and how hard it was raining at the presentation, which is why we didn't do this interview on the spot.
I think it flooded, didn't it? Yeah.
Well, the next day it came up a few metres the river, but it was raining so hard you could hardly hear what people were saying under the tents because the rain was so hard, and you were like a very happy drowned rat.
Yeah, well, after I caught those fish, I wasn't shaken from the hypothermia anymore. It was pure
excitement.
adrenaline, yeah.
That's great, mate.
But when I got back, Nicole was like, "Oh, you look blue."
You did. I think your hands look blue as well.
Yeah.
Hey, anyone who's sitting on the fence that wants to try an ABT event, how was your experience?
Yeah, it was really good. Like everyone's very welcoming. Everyone's very happy to share tips. And yeah, it was, other than the second day, the
weather.
Storm, yeah. But on the first 2 days, yeah, it was awesome.
Tell us, and anyone that you want to thank for the weekend. You've, I'm sure the partner enjoyed you bringing back a lot of booty. Maybe she maybe knocked off some of your cash too. I'm not sure, but anyone looks after you.
I actually had to spend that cash on a new phone.
There you go. Replace the drowned phone.
Yeah. I'd like to thank my 2 boaters that took me out. So thanks again, Steve and Nick, if you're watching. Thank you very much for putting us on the spots. And I don't know who else.
I'll drop one in there for you. Thanks, Atomic, for giving me that magic.
Oh yeah, thanks, Atomic. Couldn't have done it without you.
So they don't win every event, but I think every event they still have a good time and get out fishing with different people and make new friends. So thanks for enjoying ABT, and thanks for making the time to have a chat to us about it on ABT Live.
Thanks guys. Thanks, ABT. See you later.
Well, there you go. There are not too many non-boaters that can tell that story. I did my first ABT event as a non-boater and I caught a heavier winning weight than the boater did. Don't know if anyone can ever say that. Maybe be first. Nicole, do you know of any?
Not in my time.
Nope. There you go. Hey, how about how miserable it was on that day, Nicole? Have you got a photo of that day of how miserable it was? Get it up there. This is miserable. Super miserable. That is what about 30 drowned rats look like. Look at Meek Goodwin. Is he cuddling Damien there in that photo?
I think so. They were free. It was cold. It was raining. They're absolute troopers.
But look at them. Every single one, except Nathan Booth may not have a smile on his face. Everyone else got a smile on their face, except Nathan Booth. I think Booth is just borderline hypothermic right there. So there you go. That's how miserable it was. And the rain on the inside, that's just coming down between the two tents. So there you go. I think Dane Price is posing like he's in a wedding photo.
He's proud.
Isn't he? He's just proud to, and for Buck and Bass's information, what's the most popular colour rain suit?
It's this little wet weather black army going on there.
It is a little black ants. We don't have the photo of the tree over the boat ramp, do we? The next day.
Not ready to go.
No, not ready to go. So anyway, trust me, tree fell over the boat ramp. Lucky it didn't land on one of us. Also, a big shout out to the WATA guys, the West Australian Tournament Anglers guys, for running that WA event for us. It was the numbers we had in WA, it's sort of marginal. Well, we lose money on it. But with those guys running on it, we lose heaps less money. So thank you very much for doing it. And they get East Coasters, locals get to fish the Blackwood River. Didn't fish that big this event, small fish, but it's a wonderful part of Australia and a beautiful brimming environment. So thank you for that. Good to see a couple of locals got up. Mm-hmm. Hopefully they'll come to the grand final, be able to borrow a boat in East Gippsland, and away they go. Finally, winner of our awesome prize pack here. And you can tell Nicole picked this because you are a sentimental person, Nicole. What town do they come from?
A wet one at the moment.
It's a Tari person. It's Jacob Holden Webb. Was he watching on YouTube or Facebook?
He was on Facebook tonight.
On Facebook tonight. So Jacob, send us a message on Facebook with your address. And we may hold it for a week before we send the post down there. Wait till it's all back down. But you have got a great set of tackle there. If you lost any tackle in the floods, we have got some replacement stuff here for you. So Jacob Holden Webb, shoot us a message on the ABT Facebook page and we will get that to you. And I think we're done tonight, Nicole. What do you reckon?
That's all I've got.
That's all Nicole's got. That's all I got. The next live show will be after all of these, the Foster and Glenbourne, all those sort of events. We're going to come back to you in June with an ABT live. Until then, see you guys maybe on a Tackle Fridays. Ooh, cross promotion. We're out.